What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Spilling Wine with Kelly. Today, I'm here with my mom, Denise
Hi.
Boland. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. And if you notice, I look older than Kelly because I can't afford Kris Jenner's plastic surgeon. So
That was crazy
I think so.
that she got the facelift.
Because
and
she looks just
30.
like Kim.
Yeah, she looks like Kim and also Courtney, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But I heard that surgery is like $50,000 or something crazy like that.
I mean, she has the money. But the
Exactly.
question is, like, if I had that money, would I do it? And I don't know, maybe I would.
Yeah, I heard it's dangerous, though.
Oh, well, then I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's a risk because you have to pull all the skin back and
gosh.
like sew it under the muscle, I think.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. But one question that I get a lot is, how did you feel when I started doing social media?
Are you talking about the podcast?
No, I'm talking about like in the beginning when I
Okay.
was in middle school when I first started.
I hated it. I hated it because you were too young and you were exposing a lot of yourself and the family to the world. And we would get into big fights because we would find out, we would have like, I don't know, family over, and then Kelly be in her room and I'd go see what she's doing, and she's doing a live and talking about like everybody that's at the house. And I was like, you can't do this. You don't know what crazy people are watching, and you'll get stalkers. And so, yeah, I try to stay on top of you about that. But how much you kept doing, I don't know. Only you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I started when I was like 11,
Oh my God.
10 or 11. And I talked about this in the podcast too. At first, she didn't support it. She didn't like it. But then you kind of like accepted it and encouraged me to do it.
As you got older, what I encouraged you to do is do YouTube videos, because that you can edit, you can control what you're putting out there. You can more or less see the feedback and what kind of people you're attracting, what kind of viewers. But as far as like doing live, I think I still think that it's very dangerous, for especially people underage, because you don't know who's watching. And then they'll figure out where you live, especially by what you're talking about. If you talk about your school or something in your neighborhood, then they can pinpoint where you live. And I just think it's very dangerous.
So when was the moment where you finally accepted that this is what I was going to be pursuing?
Well, I guess it was, you started with Bazinga. I don't know if you ever told
God.
the
Please
audience
don't look
about
that up.
Look it up. Which I thought was great. And what were you? Were you like 11, 12? How
Yeah.
old were you guys? So
Like 11,
tell
12.
everybody what that was about.
So, as you guys already know, I started making videos at a young age, and my twin sister, she was studying film in high school. Middle school, high school is when she started getting interested in it. So she was also making videos of her own. And my mom was like, why don't you guys start making videos together? Because after school, we didn't really have much to do. We were walking the neighborhood with our friends and like trying to figure out fun stuff to do. So my mom was like, you guys can do a web show on my laptop. You, my twin Valerie, and your friend at the time. So we were like, okay, that's a good idea. And we started making videos on the laptop and posting them to my mom's YouTube account.
Right. Bazinga.
Hi, I'm Kelly. This is Valerie. No, Sam.
I thought it was on your account or Valerie's account.
I think it was on yours because we didn't have our own account yet. But the name came from what's that show? The Big Bang Theory.
Bang Theory.
Because my friend that I was doing it with, she loved that show. That was her favorite show.
Samantha.
And we also loved iCarly, so we just took I from the iCarly and then Bazinga from.
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's why we named it that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you had really good presence. Like you just knew how to do a show. And it was entertaining. It was very entertaining. And they would like throw on wigs and imitate Taylor Swift and do like crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And it was fun. I thought it was fun to watch, and you got some really good feedback. So I knew that you had something there. You had the talent. Yeah.
Then from there, we started doing vlogs. And then that's when in high school, I started making my own YouTube videos, like get ready with me, vlogs, what I'm wearing to school, stuff like that. What's in my bag? What's in my college bag?
What about the Musical.lys? That doesn't exist anymore, right?
No, Musical.ly is TikTok now.
Oh, Musical.ly.
Yeah.
Hey. So if you didn't know that, you just learned something new. So TikTok used to be Musical.ly because and basically you're just moving your lips to something that someone else
It
is
was
saying.
like Vine, but like
Vine.
voiceover of sounds and stuff. And then I did my covers on YouTube too, which I feel like you liked the most.
Yes.
But I didn't like them the most.
Why?
Because I just felt at the time kind of self-conscious about it and like putting myself out there in like such a different way because nobody else was really doing that. And I kind of just was used to the content that I was already making.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're really good at it.
But yeah, we did get into it a lot about the social media, and that's what I wanted to do. Unfortunately, I used to post a lot of story times, and people loved it. So,
but did you ever have any problems with stalkers?
I had problems all the time. I had problems with bullying. I had problems with.
See, a lot of the stuff I didn't know.
I had a lot of problems from just posting story times and posting content. Not that I was purposely posting about people that I had problems with, because I'm not stupid to do that.
And I used to tell you that too, remember? Don't mention names if you're gonna, or if you're having a problem with somebody, don't make a video about that person using their name. Yeah.
But I did get bullied a lot. My mom will tell you that. She was always at the school.
Oh gosh, I was fighting for you every day. Yeah.
So what was like the craziest thing that I had a problem with in school to you? Like, your opinion, what was the craziest thing that I dealt with?
So it was that one girl, we're not gonna mention names, and she just had it out for you, right? And wasn't she like shoving you in the halls and like doing all this crazy stuff? But that wasn't the worst of it. The worst was that guy, and he asked you to take a picture of him in the hallway. You want to tell that story? It was horrible. It was horrible.
I was in a friend group with my best friend and her boyfriend and his best friend. So it was the four of us that used to hang out together. We had other people in the friend group, but mainly it was just us four that used to hang out. And we were all good friends, no issues. And then this one guy, my best friend's boyfriend's friend, started liking me. And I remember he asked me out one day after school, and I was like, no, like, I don't really see you like that. I was very respectful about it. And ever since that day, he just had like this sort of pettiness towards me. And he was a troubled kid. He got suspended. He got sent to, what's that school for like the detention?
I don't know.
Mount Loretto, I think it's called.
Oh,
he got sent there for 2 months. He basically got kicked out of the high school. And when he came back, he was in my class, and I remember we had a sub. So our teacher was absent. We had a substitute teacher, and the whole time in the class, he was like, Kelly, you're so ugly. You're this and that. Like, he was joking around, but it was kind of like everybody in the classroom was like, what is he talking about? Like, why is he being like that? He's disrupting the entire class. He's screaming across the room at me, like just making stupid remarks. And I'm just ignoring him, whatever, because we used to be such good friends. So I'm like, okay, like, I know he's just trying to like be stupid. And then at the end of that day, he sees me in the hallway and he's like, Kelly, come take a picture of me and my friends. And those two friends, like, I was cool with them because we were all friends.
There was nobody else in the hallway at the time, right?
Not really.
Everybody
barely.
just had gone to their class?
Barely, because we were kind of late to go to class.
And you were just about ready to go into your classroom, right? Weren't you like right outside your
classroom? Yeah, I was right outside my classroom. And he's like, Kelly, come take a picture of us. And I always had a really good intuition, so I knew that he was going to do something stupid. So instead of taking a picture, I started recording because I just knew something in my gut told me that he was going to do something. And I knew this kid very well. Like, he was the type to throw rocks at cars, like take signs out of the sidewalk. Like, he was just like that wild kid. So I start recording and I'm like, okay. He's like, tell me when. And I'm like, okay. Taking a picture. 1, 2, 3. And on 3, he literally chucks his water bottle at my face. And the cap of the water bottle hits me right in my face.
Yep.
and I start gushing blood in the hallway. And he starts laughing because I guess he didn't expect it to hit me. And his friend was like, "You're such an asshole," like in the back, because they didn't know what was happening. They thought they were taking a picture. They were literally posing for the picture. And he comes up to me. He's like, "Oh my God, Kelly, I'm so sorry," like whatever. And I'm like this. I'm like, no, like I'm like pushing him away because I'm bleeding. And I remember I walk into my classroom and I'm gushing blood and everybody's looking at me like, "What the hell just happened to you?" You know, I guess I put like a tissue on my lip and I go to my last period class and my teacher is like, "Oh, like what happened to you? Like, did you get punched? Like, did you get like in a fight?" And I'm like, "No," like I wasn't feeling good. I was very lightheaded. So I ended up leaving early. And I went home. I didn't tell anybody about it really because I didn't want him to get in trouble because we were friends prior to that. So, but I walked into my house and literally as soon as my mom saw me, she's like, "What the hell happened to you?" My lip was busted.
Yeah,
like it was busted and it was like fat. And I didn't want to lie. So I told her the truth and she was like, "No, we're going up to the school tomorrow and we're going to talk to the dean," because she's been up to the school so many times that she was cordial with the dean. They knew each other.
That's sad to say.
Yeah, I was always in the dean's office, always.
Yeah.
So they knew each other, and she was like,
getting bullied so much. I always had to go up to the dean and say, "Listen, this person just shoved her in the hall. We checked the cameras, and they saw that she did shove you in the hall." You know, so yeah.
So then after that, I go up to the school. The dean is like, "Okay, well, do you want to press charges?" I say no. Like that's my friend. But then the next day, I go into school as normal. And all of a sudden, I just like faint. And do you remember that? Remember when I texted you and I was like,
"I had a concussion."
Yeah, I went to school and I literally faint. And my friend catches me, and I'm like, "No, I need to call my mom." And I call my mom. I call you, and I'm like, "I need to go home. Something's not right. Like I'm lightheaded and whatever." And I think that's when you took me to the hospital.
Yep.
You took me to the hospital, and then I found out that I had whiplash and a concussion.
Yeah.
And then when I found that out, you were like, "No, we need to press charges."
And you had migraines for like a couple of years after that.
Yes.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. So we end up going back to the dean's office saying, "Hey, we need to press charges. Like she has a concussion. She has this. She has that."
And we found out that he did the same thing to someone else. Like he beat up this kid.
That's why he was suspended. Yeah.
And he was suspended for like what, 2 months?
2 months.
Something?
Yeah.
And they let him roam the hallways. You know
but wait, it gets better. It gets better. So we press charges, right? He got suspended for a week, I think. No, he got arrested. They put him in jail overnight. Do you remember? Okay. They put him in jail overnight, and then he got suspended for a week. I had to stay home because my concussion was so bad. I couldn't be in the light. I had to wear sunglasses in school. Do you remember that?
I remember that, yeah. Yep.
I looked so stupid. I had to wear sunglasses in school.
Sunglasses.
Like walking around the hallways. But my teachers were super accommodating. I didn't have to do gym class for that whole year and the year after.
But didn't they want to take you out of a class because he was in it? And I said, that's not right. They should be taking him out of the class.
It's crazy
instead of you.
After his suspension and after I came back from being home, like trying to feel better after my concussion, they put him back in my class.
Yeah.
And the next day he was in my class and I was like, "Oh shit, like I just got him arrested. I got him suspended and he's still in my class." And what did the guidance counselor say?
That they could switch your class.
They said, "Oh, we didn't know that he was coming back. We thought he..."
Oh, I didn't remember that. Yeah.
They thought like he left.
I remember they said, "But you can switch your class."
They wanted me to switch schools, remember?
That I don't remember.
And then he ended up dropping out right after that.
He did drop out.
He ended up dropping out because I think his mom really flipped out and was like, "Okay, you can't live with me. Like, you're hitting girls." And he dropped out. I ended up getting a restraining order for a year.
Wasn't he in the neighborhood? Didn't we see him in our neighborhood?
He was always around me. He was always breaking the restraining order.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I didn't feel threatened by him because I knew he wouldn't do anything to me. But he was going around telling people that he punched me in the face.
Wow, there's a remorseful person. Yeah,
and then
he's making up stories.
Yeah, and then the video that I took of him throwing the bottle at me somehow was like floating around Twitter, and it was going viral on Twitter. And it was hard for me because since there was an open case going on, because I ended up suing the school
for not protecting you.
There was no security guards in the hallway. Very rarely you would see a security guard roaming the hallway. It was just empty hallways. So I ended up suing the school for not having enough security guards.
And knowing that he was a problem because he beat up another kid and was suspended for it, you would think they would ensure that he is escorted to his class or at least make sure he's not wandering the halls.
Yeah. So since it was an open case, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. So people were constantly coming up to me like, he said this, like, is this true? Is that true? What happened? And I wasn't allowed to say anything.
Right.
And I almost dropped out of school because it was so bad, like the bullying, people talking about me. I remember one time I had a substitute teacher in my class, and mind you, the story was all over SI Live. It was like a known thing that happened in the school. My name wasn't mentioned because I was a minor, but I think your name was in the article.
Yeah. I remember people calling me. One of my friends, Val, she's like, I'm driving in the car and I hear your name on 1010 Wins. Is this true? Does this really happen to Kelly? I'm like, yeah.
It was a big thing. I remember I had a substitute teacher and he was telling the class about it and he didn't know that it was me. And I stood up and I was like, that's me. Like, you're talking about me. Like, you're sharing. Like,
is he saying it in a negative way?
He was saying it in like a negative like way.
People
like,
don't know all the facts.
And I was like, that's me. Like, you're talking about me. And his face like turned white as a ghost.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I can't be in this school anymore.
Yeah.
But luckily I only had a year left.
But you pushed through it. So that's one thing about you. You know, you're a very, very strong girl. You always, I'm calling you a girl, you're a young woman, but you've always been very strong and you've dealt with a lot in your life. You lost your dad when you were young. You lost your stepdad, and the bullying and, you've gone through so much, but you set yourself goals. You have dreams. You never let any of that get in your way. You never said, you know what, I'm just going to give up. And you never did, and a lot of people, can take advice from you. And that's why I'm glad you have this podcast, because I know that you can help people because it's not like you're just coming in front of a camera and you're just talking whatever, but you're talking from real life experience, things that you have gone through and pushed through and come out on the other side. And that's why I think it's so great that you have this platform.
Yeah. I remember getting it so bad that I would stay home from school. I would tell my mom, nah, I'm not going to school today. I can't go to school today. And I would just stay home because it was so bad. The girls pushing me in the hallway and the situation with him and his friends. It's so crazy because his friends text me now and they're like, wow, I'm so proud of how far you've come. And I'm so like,
those are good people.
Right. But at the time they sided with him and it was like, okay, like, are you not my friend too?
I mean, they probably had no choice. If they wanted to still be friends with him, they had to,
I actually want to get him on the podcast one day. I don't know if that would ever happen because I don't know if he doesn't like me, but I saw him recently. 2 of our mutual friends passed away, unfortunately.
Oh.
So I saw him at their funerals.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't say anything to me. Like, it's not like he probably has any resentment towards me. Maybe he does, but
maybe not. You never know.
Yeah, who knows?
He was young. I mean, people grow up and mature and regret things that they've done.
Yeah. So who knows?
And who knows? I mean, you always have to wonder, what made him that way?
Exactly.
Did he get bullied a lot? Why was he so aggressive with other people?
Exactly. I also want to talk about some myths that you told me when I was younger. And I don't know if you remember.
Santa Claus? Because I told you he was.
No. Oh. I remember. So when I was young, when I was a baby, I loved candy. And I don't know where
you're going with this.
No, I don't think you do. But I guess my older sister used to give me candy when I was 2 years old. She would let me chew gum. So I grew up with a really bad candy addiction. I'm talking I would hoard candy under my bed at 4 or 5 years old. But I remember you tried so hard to get me to stop eating candy. And I remember we were in the supermarket and I wanted this Hershey bar with the almonds in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
No. But I could go for one right now.
I remember saying, Mom, I want that candy bar. And you were like, no. When when the supermarket is closed, the rats come and they bite the candy bar.
No, that could be true.
And I was like, no, it's not. Like, let me get the candy bar. Like, I really want the candy bar. And she's like, okay, I'm going to get it for you, but you're going to see. And you bought it for me. And I remember opening it, and there were bite marks in the candy bar because you bit the...
What?
You don't remember?
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember? I opened it and I was like, Mom, there's bite marks in the candy bar. And you were like, see, I told you the rats get the candy bar, and you bit it.
Oh my God. I plead the fifth. I don't remember that.
I remember, especially after Halloween, I would have a pile of candy and candy wrappers all under my bed. And I probably was about like 4 or 5 years old. And I don't think you knew about it because when you found out about it, you were pissed.
Yeah, no. The reason I found out about it is because I took you and Valerie to the dentist, and you still had baby teeth, and you had like 7 cavities, and Valerie had 0. I'm like, what? How do you have 7 cavities? You're a little girl. You're like 4 years old. You know, and then that's when I found out that you were eating all this candy, because I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had to work full time. I was in the city. I left you with babysitters, and so I had no idea that you were doing all of this.
Yeah.
But then I hear later on that you would hide under the table with candy.
Yeah. And every time I went to the dentist, they found more and more cavities.
Yeah.
And I think I had about like 18 cavities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just in my baby teeth.
Yeah. That's why I try to discourage you from eating candy.
Yeah. I mean, at least I wasn't like, you know, I didn't have health issues from that.
Yeah.
You know?
No, you're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have nice teeth.
Yeah. I do.
Beautiful teeth. You had to get braces.
Braces.
You weren't happy about the
Invisalign.
braces, but
I mean, I had to. I had really bad teeth. I had like a weird overbite. Then I had something with my gums that I had to get surgery on. And it was just like a lot that I had to do with my teeth. But yeah, I was chewing gum at like 2 years old.
wow.
Like, I remember Christy would break the piece in half and give it to me. Yeah.
She was a kid herself.
Yeah.
She was what, like 16?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were friends with my dentist, so what did you guys...
Yeah, I went to high school with Sandy.
Yeah, so when she said that I have these cavities, what were you guys, like, really talking about or thinking of?
Oh my God. She was like, what is she eating? She's got to be eating a lot of sugar. She's got to be eating. I'm like, I don't give her a lot of sugar. And what about candy? I don't give her a lot of candy. I said, and how does it make sense that Valerie has none? So I give them the same food and the same treats.
Yeah.
That's why I couldn't understand. And then I realized she was sneaking it.
Yeah.
And being fed it by babysitters.
I don't think Valerie ate a lot of candy.
No.
She really didn't.
No. So when we leave here, we'll go get some candy.
The rat bitten candy?
Gonna go get you a Hershey bar with almonds.
It's funny because me and Pete bought the candy bar and I bit it and I was like, I'm gonna give this to my mom. Remember when he was over at the house and we were supposed to come back?
Yes.
I bit through the candy and I was like, I'm gonna give this to
I wouldn't have
Mom.
remembered. I wouldn't have remembered
That's
what that meant
crazy.
because I didn't do that.
That's crazy.
I honestly didn't do that. I
Probably
did hear
70.
stories about rodents running around the supermarket.
So was it not you? Was it really a rat that bit it? wait.
What would the odds be of that? No.
Like it was like bit like all throughout. Like
Really?
it looks like you bit it through the plastic and I opened it, there were bite marks in
I
it.
remember that.
It was
Okay.
probably John then. It was one of
See
you.
that if he was in on it, then yeah, that's John. Yeah, his stepdad would have done something like that for sure.
Okay, so it probably wasn't you.
Yeah,
then.
because I don't think I would do something like that.
Okay, I don't think it was you then. But I opened it and I was like, Mom, there's bite marks in the candy bar. You see, I told you.
Oh my God.
Don't get that candy. I've never eaten it since, by the way.
Oh my God.
I never ate that candy ever
and
again.
Hershey's with almonds is so good.
Not when there's bite marks in it.
Oh my gosh. So
I
now,
threw it
so
out.
now
I
you're
remember-
traumatized?
I remember throwing it out when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I can't eat it. There's bite marks in it. Like the rats got
You're
it.
traumatized. Your sister Valerie is traumatized. She won't eat Milano cookies because
I don't know why. No, I think she just doesn't.
I said, Valerie, you want a Milano cookie? And she's like, no. I said, why not? She goes, I don't like it. I said, did you ever have one?
Well, you try to
She
force
said
her to eat
no.
it.
How do you say no to Milano? How do you say you don't like a Milano cookie because if you've never had it? So I'm like, well, taste it. And she's like, no. And I'm like holding her mouth open.
Yeah, you did the same with coconut too, with like the coconut flakes or whatever.
Taste it.
She
It's
doesn't
good.
like
Now
it.
she won't go anywhere near Milano cookies.
I also have a bone to pick with you because you're the reason why I got bullied in my freshman year.
Did I cut your bangs crooked or something?
No, you bought me a suitcase as my backpack.
I did?
The roller book bags
yes. Well,
that she
listen,
wanted me to have.
Because, and I'm sorry you got bullied for it, but, and you guys, parents can agree, they have you guys carrying these huge, heavy book bags on your back. Like, it's almost crippling. I don't know how you do it. Like, I can't even lift the thing, and you guys have to put it on your shoulders and walk around all day like that. And your sister,
Yeah.
So if you want to feel better, your oldest sister, April, was bullied too. Because, and she's the oldest, April, because she was getting back aches. So I asked
So you
her
didn't learn.
guidance counselor if he can let her put her backpack in his office throughout the day and just take the books she needed. So she would do that, and her friends found out, and they were like making fun of her because of it. And she said till this day, yeah, she remembers she was bullied because I said, but how can they have you going up and down stairs, walking around all day with this heavy, heavy backpack on your back?
No, I didn't mind the roller backpack, but tell me how we went to the store to get the backpacks and they didn't have any. So she bought me legit a small suitcase.
Was it really?
Yes.
It looked like a suitcase.
It was a suitcase. No,
Really?
It didn't look like a suitcase. It was a suitcase. The smaller one, literally,
Really?
I swear.
Okay.
And I would walk down the hallways and the seniors would be like, what are you going to the airport?
So are you telling me the other kids had their rolling backpacks? So it was okay. It's just that I didn't get you a rolling backpack.
Well, honestly, there weren't a lot of rolling backpacks.
I know
in general.
Yeah, they wouldn't, because it was like an embarrassing thing to be pulling your backpack on wheels, and I don't know why.
I'm not kidding. It was literally like a whole thing where you open it and you like wheel it down the hallway. People would trip over it.
And Valerie got
like,
one too, because whatever I got you, I got her.
She didn't have a suitcase.
She didn't have a suitcase. Did she get the last rolling
Probably
backpack in the store?
Probably. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be
Okay.
surprised.
Well, I'm
I remember.
sorry.
But then I just got like a Michael Kors bag. I had my binder in there, and it was good. Like I had my bag with my binder.
All right, that's good.
No more suitcase. Yeah. Also, I think I manifested my influencer career because I've been getting a lot of PR packages, especially this week. Constant packages.
What about that huge box that came?
Fruit Riot. If you guys don't know what that is, it's like a frozen fruit that's covered in like sour candy. It's all over the supermarket. They sent me like a huge PR box. I was so excited. But I think I manifested that because when I was a little bit younger, probably in like beginning of college, my mom, you used to be like, why do you keep ordering so many packages? Like, stop spending so much money. And I'll be like, Mom, they're PR packages. And they really weren't. I was just buying that shit.
I know. Now I'm so happy to see when a box comes in and says Kelly Bolin on it. It's not something that you bought.
Yeah.
Because it was like every day she's buying stuff. She's getting something shipped every day.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you're not paying for any of this stuff.
Manifested.
Yeah.
How about when I used to tell you something and be like, please don't tell anyone, and then I would get 3 phone calls from each of my sisters talking about that one
Because
thing.
your sisters are not included in anyone. We're a family. Okay. I know it's a cop-out. I don't know. If I thought it wasn't something so bad, if it was something like really, really personal, I wouldn't share it with anybody. But I'm sure it wasn't anything that was super, super personal.
Okay.
Was it?
I don't know.
No,
Just
probably not.
things in general.
Yeah.
What about when you used to tell me that if you wear makeup all the time, you would look sick without it?
That's a fact. Especially, no, I didn't say makeup. I said false eyelashes.
No, I think you said makeup.
With the mascara and stuff?
Because when I was in high school, freshman year, sophomore year, I used to wear tons of
That
makeup.
is
Like I used to
true.
like pack it on.
That is true.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't have the eyelashes, the eyeliner, not so much the blush. Who cares about the blush? But it's the eyes that pop when you have makeup on, and when you're not wearing that, when you know what it is. if you never wear makeup, you look fine. But when people get used to seeing you a certain way all the time with the long lashes and the eyeliner, then when they don't see you like that, yeah, it does look like you're a little sick or you just woke up. Yeah, it's a fact.
Okay.
You can do a side-by-side picture.
Okay. I feel like it depends on the person, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Unless you, I mean, back then you were wearing a lot of makeup.
Like
you were
thick
wearing
eyeliner, thick winged
but
eyeliner.
you were wearing like eyelashes that I used to call spiders. Do you remember?
Oh yeah. You know why?
Like
Because I used to
extremely
reuse
thick.
them. No, I used to reuse them, and they were all like disgusting, clumpy mascara,
God,
eyelash
is
glue,
that why?
and I would wear them still. Yeah.
Yeah, they were like extremely thick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
So I was like, if you stop wearing them, people are going to think something's wrong with your eyes.
And I also used to clump on my mascara, like my natural lashes. I would
Yeah.
just sit there and just like keep
Just
packing
keep
it
doing
on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Valerie's the opposite. You're twins, but you're like total opposite.
Yeah.
She doesn't like putting anything on her face.
I asked her to come on the podcast. She said no.
Yeah. And you guys would be great. You could do like a little twin thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is this still myths? We're still doing
No, I just have one more.
Okay.
You used to tell me that if I keep rolling my eyes, they were going to get stuck like that. Like in the back of my head.
My mother used to tell me that.
Is that true?
No.
Are you sure? Because
You're going to see when you become a mom that you're going to sound like me, because that's what we do. We start talking like our mother, and we start saying things that our mother used to tell us. We tell our kids the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if there's any reported case where someone's eyes got stuck from rolling their eyes at their mother, but
what else?
if anyone knows, put it in the comments. But
yeah, if anyone knows, let us know.
but no.
What
Not true.
else?
I never told you about Santa Claus.
Yeah, no.
I never told you about Santa Claus. None of your sisters, because this is what I believed, that if you teach a child about somebody that's real and then they find out later on they're not real, how are they going to feel when you're teaching them about Jesus, say? Mm-hmm. Are they going to start questioning, okay, is Jesus real? My mom lied to me about Santa Claus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I used to say Santa Claus. I don't know if I ever said he used to exist, Saint Nick. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But you never put like from Santa Claus.
No,
never.
we always got the credit for all the presents.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but Santa Claus was like very big in the house. Like you watched all the cartoons and Santa Claus is coming to town, and we always had decorations and stuff.
Yeah.
So we weren't like anti-Santa, but I never said that he was real and he was, go to sleep, leave the cookies out for Santa, and we never did anything like that.
Yeah, no. But I think you did like the Tooth Fairy. You definitely did, yeah. I remember.
I did do the Tooth Fairy. I did that because I thought that was fun. Because I really looked forward to, like, when I was a kid, putting my tooth under the pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then when I found out the Tooth Fairy wasn't real was when I put my tooth under my pillow, and the next morning I found a quarter, and then I went and told my friend, and she says, oh, when I put my tooth under the pillow, I got $1. So I was like, wait a minute.
You got the bootleg.
I would think the Tooth Fairy would be fair. So, yeah.
Why do parents like save their child's teeth?
Oh.
Why are you making that sound like you don't save the teeth?
No, I do. I'm just trying to remember where I put them. I don't know.
That's crazy. They definitely don't stay like
that. You want to hold on to the little baby as much as you can. I still have your baby shoes. I have all your sister's first walking shoes. And I didn't bronze them. I don't like that. They're literally the shoes. Yeah.
Bronze? What do you mean?
That was a big thing back in my time.
Like you put
they would take the baby
on
shoes and they would send it to a company, and the company would bronze it. Like, I don't know how they do it. Cover it in bronze until it's stiff and it's a bronze color, and then ship it back to you, and then you put it on display.
Interesting.
Yeah, bronze baby shoes. Yeah, people don't do stuff like that anymore, but that was very big back in like the 70s and 80s. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I still have that. I want to say I still have the first outfit that you came home in the hospital with. And then, pictures. We have a lot of pictures. I think you have a baby album somewhere.
Okay.
Your younger sister got gypped because most of her pictures were digital. We took a lot of pictures, digital pictures, and with our phones that
I don't even have old pictures from when I was like in middle school, high school.
Because everything is digital. Mm-hmm. But I got them. I got them on Google Drive. They're there. I got videos.
Also, I want to talk about outfits. So when I was younger, Justice was big.
Yes.
And also Aeropostale. So you would buy us, the sets, the top and bottoms. So why did you let me walk out of the house with a blue top and green bottoms? I dressed myself, but you didn't say like that doesn't match.
You can wear blue and green. Why can't you wear blue and green?
Oh, that's another thing. Yeah, you would literally say, yeah, why not? Wear blue and green, neon green and bright blue.
No.
Yes.
You have a picture to prove it?
Yes.
I want to see it.
Bright green and bright blue together as an outfit.
What shoes were you wearing? What were the color shoes?
Obviously, you got me the top and the matching bottoms, like the green, blue, blue. So why was I mix matching?
I don't know.
The outfits.
I don't know. Was Valerie wearing the opposite?
I don't know.
Was she wearing the blue top and the green pants?
That would have been weird. No, because we were different sizes.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
I would never let my kids
look back at
walk
my
in the house not
pictures.
matching.
I'm like, where was my hair? I look like a boy growing up. They cut my hair so short that I look like a boy in my childhood pictures.
Well, you cut my hair because you didn't want to brush it every morning. Because I had long, like, knotted hair.
Oh, trimmed it. Your hair was never short.
Yes, it was.
Like a boy?
It was, like, up to here. With the bangs.
Oh, that was
and I remember
cute
you
style.
cut it because you didn't want to brush it every morning. Because I would scream. When you would brush through my knots.
Yeah. But it never looked like mine. Mine was like a boy. Like literally.
Yeah, no.
Like it didn't even touch my neck. It was awful. Yeah.
No.
No, you always had nice hair growing up.
Yeah.
And then I remember you wanted an ombre. Remember the ombre?
Yeah.
So I had to take the bleach and brush it through and stop like right around here, right?
Oh my God, that was so bad.
Or was it the other way around? No, it was dark here.
It looked so bad because...
And bleach on the bottom. We made it blonde on the bottom?
Yeah, I don't know if it was you, but I think it was just the style back then that it looked so bad.
Yeah, ombres, they were, yeah.
Because it was brown and then it just stopped here and then the rest was blonde. Like it was like a line. And
I think it wasn't supposed to be a line. It was supposed to gradually go into the blonde.
No, but I think that was just how it was back then with the ombre. I don't know.
That's how everybody was doing it, right?
I guess.
Yeah. It's crazy styles. Crazy styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else that you would like to add?
I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you. And I'm proud that you made the cover of a magazine. And thank you, Kenny Graham, photographer, and everything that you're doing. And I hope that more and more people watch you and get to know you through your podcast and know that you have a really good heart and that you're doing this because you want to reach people and you want to touch lives.
Yep.
And that's what you are doing. So very proud of you. I love you.
Love you. And also, if you guys don't know, my mom also has a show. So if you want to promote your show, go for it.
I have a retro pop culture TV show called Remember This with Denise Boland, and you can find it on YouTube and Rumble. And people are like, what's Rumble? YouTube likes to give me copyright strikes all the time because it's a retro show. So I have to show clips of things, from the past. And so I get gigged a lot for that. So I'm on YouTube and rumble.com. Yeah. And it's a fun show.
Yep.
And I have really great guests. And especially if you're around my age, you'll love to see episodes I did with like Cindy Brady from the Brady Bunch. Who else? I had Sally Struthers from All in the Family, Don McLean, who we know him as the king of American Pie. Yeah. Oh my gosh. We grew up on that song. And even your generation, I remember your friend Marie
on
YouTube singing American Pie. Yeah, great song. But a lot of fun guests, and I love doing that.
Also, another thing is a lot of my friends, or most of my friends, can't believe your age. They think that you're like 40-something, 50.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I had Kelly and Valerie later in life. Yeah. So I don't need Kris Jenner's plastic surgeon.
No, that was insane. That's insane.
So do you think there's going to be like any problems that's going to occur after this, or you think she's okay?
I heard that it's really hard for you to move your face afterwards.
Oh my gosh.
Because the skin is so tight.
Will it eventually stretch a little?
Probably. I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard of anybody getting that surgery before. Apparently, Lindsay Lohan got the same surgery, though.
Why? She's so young.
Yeah, but if you look at pictures of her now, her wrinkles are all gone.
Yeah.
I mean, she had a lot of wrinkles from doing drugs and stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'll definitely age you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's better to age gracefully.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Take care of your skin. And I don't think Kris Jenner looked all that bad.
No.
I mean, if you
She
look
really
at the
didn't.
before and after, what she is, but
yeah, she's 69.
yeah, she's 69. Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't look 69
No, she
before the
didn't.
surgery.
She didn't. Now she looks like she's 30.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well,
We'll see.
if it makes her happy.
Yeah. Well, that wraps up today's episode. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, listen on Spotify, rate us 5 stars, shop the merch, and I'll see you guys in the next one.